For this problem, we are finding all the zeros of the function and then writing it in factored form. So the problem is 5x to the fourth minus 4x cubed plus 19x squared minus 16x minus 4. And I have graphed it on my graphing calculator to find the real zeros. And I can see from my graph that there are two real zeros, and they are 1, 0 right here, and negative 2/10 0 right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do synthetic division with those two real zeros and get my polynomial function down to a quadratic function so that I can either use the quadratic formula to solve or try to solve it by another method if possible. Okay, in synthetic division what we do is we take just the coefficients of our polynomial. So my leading coefficient was 5. My on the x cubed was negative 4. Then I had 19 for x squared. I had negative 16 for x. And I had negative 4 for my constant. So from my graph, my first zero was negative 1/5. So I'm going to divide negative 1/5 into this. So my first number comes down, which is 5. And then all you simply do is take negative 1/5 times 5. That is negative 1. And then you add here, so negative 4 plus negative 1 is negative 5. And then you multiply negative 1/5 times negative 5. That becomes a positive 1. Then you add 19 plus 1 is 20. Then you multiply negative 1/5 times 20. That is negative 4. Then I add again, that's negative 20. Then I multiply again, negative 1/5 times negative 20, that's positive 4, and my remainder is 0. This right here is my remainder. And because I already knew this was a 0 based on my graph, if I don't get a 0 here for my remainder, then that means I did something wrong. So this is bottom row right here is my reduced polynomial, and it is 5x to the third minus 5x to the second plus 20x minus 20. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use this reduced polynomial to do synthetic division again. And so this time I'm going to use my second zero. So it's 5, negative 5, 20, negative 20. And my second zero is positive 1. So again, the first number comes straight down, 5. I multiply. That gives me 5. Then I add, gives me 0. Then I multiply, gives me 20. If I add, multiply, add, my remainder is 0. So this is my reduced polynomial now. So this is 5x to the second plus 0x plus 20, and this is what we need to solve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 5x to the second plus 0x plus 20, and I could solve this one by using the quadratic formula. And if you remember that, that's negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. But there's actually a faster way to solve this. So because there is no middle term, I can simply take 5x squared plus 20 and set it equal to 0, subtract my 20 over, divide by my 5, and so x squared equals negative 4, and then square root. And so x is, whenever you take the square root of something, it's plus or minus, and the square root of negative 4 is 2i. It's an imaginary number. So my zeros for my polynomial function were negative 1/5, positive 1, positive 2i, and negative 2i. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually take these zeros and we're going to write them as factors. So when we write them as factors, it's always x minus the 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have x minus negative 1/5, x minus 1, x minus 2i, and x minus negative 2i. So my factors are x plus 1/5, x minus 1, x minus 2i, and x plus 2i. Now sometimes with this one here, if we don't want the fraction, what we do is we multiply everything by 5. And so what we have here is 5x plus 1 times x minus 1 times x minus 2i times x plus 2i. So I believe MathXL did this. They put the 5 out in front, and then they had x plus 1/5. And so if you distribute this 5 through here, there's the 5x plus 1, which is this right here above it. And so their answer was 5 times x plus 1/5 times x minus 1 times x minus 2i times x plus 2i.